Starting with the Mesopotamians, they were the first astronomers to make long-term written records. Also, around 4000 BC were the Egyptians. The Egyptians aligned the pyramids in the cardinal points, north, east, south, and west. They also developed a calendar used to predict the Nile flood. Also, they aligned their temples to the rising and setting of the sun. Now we have the Stonehenge from 5000 BC. Viewed from the center of the Stonehenge on the summer solstice, the rising sun is aligned with heel stone, which lies outside the circle of standing stones. Next up we have Thales from about 624 to 547 BC. He predicted the solar eclipse, and the Egyptians taught him how to find the distance to a ship at sea by observing it. The Chinese came around about 13th century BC. They recorded observations of eclipses, meteor showers, and comets. Pythagoras is next. He was from 582 to 500 BC. He developed a model for the solar system including two features that marked a break from previous thinking of the universe. They rejected the idea that the Earth wasn't flat but round. Celestial bodies moved in a circular path. He also invented a theory called the Pythagorean theorem. The Babylonians were also around 500 BC. See regulars and patterns in the motion of the moon. They found each planet's synchronic period. Now we have Aristotle, who modified the model of Eudoxus to include the more concentric spheres. Also argued that all celestial motions must be circular because circular motion is the only kind of motion that can be repeated over and over. Now we have Aristarchus, who was around 300 BC. He determined the distance of the moon by finding out the moon's angular distance and its linear diameter. We have Eratosthenes from 200 BC. He used geometry to calculate the size of the Earth. Next up we have Hipparchus from 134 BC. He discovered a star and started to make systematic catalog of the bright star. He figured out that the position of the nexus among the stars were different at different times. Now we have the Mayans and Mesoamericans. They were special people. They built monuments that aligned to the sunrise and the sunsets of the equinoxes and solstices. They tracked the changing position of Venus and created a table for Venus rings, lunar and solar eclipses. The Mayan calendar tracked at the sun, moon, and the rising and setting of Venus. Now we have Ptolemy from about 127 to 151 AD. He was the last of the great astronomers. He completed a system that could accurately account for the motions and the planets using the combination of regular circle motions. He invented terrestrial latitude and longitude. He gave coordinates for over 8,000 places. Now we have the Arabs and Muslims from 700 AD. They studied the sky a lot. Now we have Copernicus from 1473 to 1543. He was the first astronomer who proposed the first fully developed heliocentric model of the solar system. This is Brahe. He was from 1546 to 1601. His opposition delayed the general acceptance of the ideas in Copernicus. He wrote a book describing observations of an extremely bright new star called the Nova. Now we have Kepler from 1571 to 1630. He wrote a book about orbits of planets. His main discoveries were about the nature of the planetary orbits. He summarized his discoveries in Kepler's law of planetary motion. This is Galileo from 1564 to 1642. With the telescope, Galileo observed remarkable phenomena that no astronomer could have ever seen with the unlaid eye. He didn't create the telescope, but he just made one for himself to study the stars, moon, etc. Now we have Newton from 1642 to 1727. He pulled together scattered ideas and discoveries about the motion and synthesized the laws of motion and gravity. The fundamental description and explanation for the motions of objects, whether terrestrial or celestial, and contained in Newton's three laws of motion. Now we have Edmund Halley from 1656 to 1742. He discovered Halley's comet, and in 1705 he published a synthesis of the astronomy of the comets. Now we have Einstein. In 1926 he invented the refrigerator. In 1921 he won the Nobel Peace Prize in Physics for his first work on the photogenic effect. Now we have Niels Bohr, a physicist who made fundamental contributions to understanding atomic structure and quantum theory. He graduated from the University of Copenhagen in 1911. Now we have Wolfgang Pauli. In 1925, he made a rule explaining the behavior of electrons and atoms. He became the first to propose the existence of subatomic particles in the neutron. We have Werner Heisenberg. He created the quantum mechanics, and in 1926 he created the uncertain principle. Most quantum theory physics theory of objects isolated from surroundings. Next we have Edwin Hubble. He was born in 1989 and discovered the cosmos. Now we have George Lemaitre. In 1929 he created the Big Bang Theory. Dun, dun, dun. Now we have Robert Oppenheimer. He became a PhD at age 22. In the 1930s he wrote papers about the existence of black holes. Now we have Fred Hoyle from 1957 to 17. He was the founder and director of the Institute of Theoretical Astronomy in Cambridge. Now we have Piancus. He discovered the cosmic microwave in the background. In 1964, he experimented with 20 feet of atomic and detected radio waves. Now we have Armstrong and Aldrin. On July 20 of 1969, Armstrong and Aldrin became the first to step on the moon.